Actually a very good question. I can't do this anymore. Started asking myself, what am I afraid of? I sometimes can't believe that this is my life now. I don't get the princess treatment, I get the queen treatment. More diverse, more future-oriented, more female. Hello and welcome back, guys, to another YouTube vlog, a Q&A. After a long time, I'm here in the wonderful south of France in Saint-Tropez. And I just came back from the beach. It has been a lovely day and I wanted to take the time and welcome a lot of new followers to this YouTube channel. To start maybe with a little introduction, the basics. I'm Stefanie, I'm 28 years old, turning 29 pretty soon, and I grew up in Nuremberg, a little town next to Munich in Germany. From there on I started my journey getting into cars and motorsport, and all about that probably in one of the next further questions. So let us start. And which university did you study? So I did a bachelor in industrial engineering and it was at the Friedrich Alexander University in Erlangen. So my major was in forming technology and engineering, and then I decided to continue with a double master degree. So I started first a master in industrial engineering, so I continued, and then I started also a master in mechanical engineering. The advantage was I only needed to write one master thesis at the end, but it got me the chance to get like more modules overall, so I could dive into the field of engineering much more. But at the same time I was also in economics, so I went abroad to Paris to IAE, Gustave Eiffel School of Management, for an MBA program. So I was also able to dive deeper into the world of economics, negotiation, globalization, supply chain management. This was pretty interesting, and leadership. And then I came back to Germany, finished my master's at the Friedrich Alexander University. And then I continued my doctor degree in Stuttgart, at the University of Stuttgart. So these are the universities I'm currently signed in. What's one thing you wish you knew when you started? Maybe started with social media probably, and then I will answer it also for my PhD thesis. So in regard of social media, it's actually a very good question. One thing I would say that consistency pays off. When I started posting and I had a brand new account, so like 0 followers, I posted for half of a year, so like 6 months, almost every day. Even though the content was not good, I was posting with my iPhone 12 mini, a medium quality. I was uploading all my stuff and I just continued posting because I knew that at some point the algorithm will let or like reach the right people who I want to empower, inspire for cars and the world of engineering, and it worked out. So in October, like I started with my account in April 2023, and October 2023 I went viral for the first time. Consistency pays off. And regarding the doctor thesis, so I would say that I didn't know, and nobody told me this before, that when you start a doctoral thesis, it's basically not about the subject. It's not about what you do the research on. It's basically just you versus you. And everybody who writes a thesis and at the end has this moment where it's like 1, 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning and you're just like, I can't do this anymore. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't think that this is good enough. I'm not sure why I started this. And it really makes you question everything, and you basically need a lot of resilience, and you need to compete the self-doubt that just, I don't know, rises from month to month or like year to year when you write your doctoral thesis. And this is one thing I discovered, that it's basically just, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon where you find out more about yourself than you've ever thought. And if you get to the end where you're like satisfied and you can stand behind your work, then you can submit your thesis. And I did this last year in October 2025 when I submitted the first draft of my doctoral thesis, and since then I'm waiting for feedback, so we're working on that. What's the best advice you've ever received? Also a very thoughtful question. I think it comes to procrastination, also like being sometimes demotivated. You know you have to do something, like you want to work out tomorrow morning, you want to get in shape before your next vacation, you want to finish this project before the deadline, you want to start this little business idea you have, and at some point you find yourself procrastinating all the time. So you know you have something to do and you basically just not start doing it. Somebody told me that this procrastinating just comes from fear. The fear of failing, because our human brain just tries to protect us all the time based on previous experience. So our brain tries to predict the future based on previous experience, where we got hurt, where we failed. So it's just like a memory function, and it tries to protect us. So staying in the comfort zone, not moving at all, is basically what our brain tries to do, or like tries to tell us. So procrastinating is basically just a result of fear. It's a safety zone for ourselves. And the moment somebody told me that, and I started asking myself, what am I afraid of? Like before I start, let's say, posting on social media, and I didn't start for a couple of weeks till I realized, okay, I'm basically afraid that what will other people tell or like talked about behind my back. I realized it's the fear of being seen, of failing, not being good enough. When I overcame that, everything just started rolling. So if you're struggling with something, if you're considering to start maybe social media, maybe a little business idea, and you've been procrastinating on that for a long time, you can ask yourself, what are you actually afraid of? And think it through, like, why does this matter to you? The next question, what do you do for a living? I do my best. So at the moment, I'm self-employed. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I do social media. So I work with brands in the automotive and motorsport sector, and we combine it with like storytelling from a female engineer's perspective, marketing activations through events, through productions with cars and in the motorsport world. Then I founded the EAE Mentorship Club. So based on all the knowledge, and especially starting from zero, getting into cars and motorsport, I realize it's a lonely world, especially when you're a woman and when you come from a mixed race background, you're young, you're female. So I wanted to make this industry more welcoming, transparent, and show you the gated how to nobody talks about on how to really get into motorsport and cars, because it is competitive, it isn't transparent. So I want to make this industry more diverse, more future oriented, more female. So I've founded 3 years ago a mentorship club called EAE for Educate, Inspire, Empower, where we are now a worldwide global community of more than 115 people from Australia to Canada to the US and South Africa. And we're all peers or professionals getting into motorsport and cars. Third, I also do consulting for companies in the field of engineering, productions, marketing, culture management. I also do that. And yeah, last but not least, I try to do my best in the end. Also finishing my PhD thesis this year, hopefully. Then I can focus on making impact. That's basically everything, or like the motivation behind everything I do. I try to create impact. I'm so blessed that I have such a strong community out there. So thank you so much for watching this video and supporting me on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok. Because of this reach and brands realizing it's important to talk about diversity and next generation and to take us seriously, I get the chance to do what I do every day. How tall I am? I'm 1.74 meters. On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with choosing engineering? I'm very, very satisfied that I chose engineering. I have a really rational thinking and approach to everything in my life. I'm good with numbers, structure, systems, analytics. So I can recommend everybody out there to study something that is hard, that will get you out of your comfort zone. 10 out of 10 recommendation. What would you suggest to your younger self in early 20s? Probably going abroad much earlier on. I've lived in Paris. I've been living in Barcelona. I traveled a lot from like Asia to Middle America, North America, Africa. So I've seen quite a lot, but at a young age, at the beginning, especially of 20, I didn't even know how important it is to get out of your comfort zone and especially live on your own abroad. Learn a new language, get into new culture. This got me so out of my comfort zone when I then moved to Paris for the first time that I grew so fast. I did practice my languages, French and English, but I would have done it much earlier if I would have known how great the development is for oneself when you go abroad. How did your upbringing make you who you are today? Very good question. So maybe let's start with my family. So my mother taught me basically discipline, saving money. So my mother was a single-raised mom. She came from Cameroon with basically no education and not a penny in her pocket. She needed to build her life from scratch here in Germany at that time with my father, and she was so disciplined that she saved every penny. And my mother was able to build a very good foundation, stable life for us based on saving money, staying disciplined, and focusing and investing in what really matters. From my dad, it's the optimism and the kindness and generosity. My dad is probably the most giving person I know. I have really high standards in regard of dating because of my father, because I don't get the princess treatment, I get the queen treatment. I have 3 siblings, so I also have 2 half siblings, and they're half Chinese, half English, German speaking, but we all live in Germany. All of them, like my sister and my half siblings, we all get treated like queens thanks to my dad, because when there's something happening with my car, he just comes over, he helps me repairs it when I'm traveling and I'm really exhausted and I'm, I don't know, arriving at the airport or like the main train station, and I text him, can you pick me up? I'm so exhausted. He will be always there. So he's basically more giving than taking. From my sister, setting boundaries. My sister is the queen of setting boundaries, because the moment somebody acts not the way she likes it, she would speak up immediately. So my battery is running low, but maybe let's finish with like 2 or 3 fast questions. Can you explain how did you reach this level of success and your background in detail? That's very kind. The moment you like, I don't know, when I sit here and I'm currently in Saint-Tropez, like I sometimes can't believe that this is my life now, like spending almost 2 weeks, or like actually 2 weeks here with my best friends and just enjoying our life. We're all working very dedicated and passionate on our businesses, and now staying here makes me realize that I'm actually living the dream, like the life of my dreams. I would call myself successful, but not because of a specific amount of, I don't know, like a number as followers or like a bank account or income, but more like because I'm doing the things I was telling myself I will do. And this is just something I recognized in the last few years, that if you're content with your actions and you really follow through, success will also follow. Because success is not about KPIs. Success is basically just a feeling of self-trust and accomplishment of what you wanted to do, what is in your control. So numbers like income or KPIs, they're sometimes not in my control. So I don't measure success based on external sources. That would basically just make me frustrated. So what's in my control is posting almost daily, going on vacation, and really taking time for myself, telling myself I want to meditate every morning because it really helps my mental health and makes me just calm down and really be grateful and live in the moment. Working out daily or going for a walk every morning, reading, calling my friends. So this is what I would call success, because when I say something, I also execute. That's basically also what got me where I am today. I wanted to study engineering. I followed through. I wanted to start social media. I posted daily. I have a really clear vision of what I want, and I'm using my strength and try to be myself, my most authentic self, and just have self-trust that it will work out in the end. And if not, I would just start over. And sometimes I hope it doesn't work out. So I also learn humbleness and resilience. Okay, maybe one last. Maybe the question I also got quite a lot. Do you have a partner? I think that private life should stay private. I wouldn't talk about my private life on social media. So if there would be a partner, if there would be a ring, if I would be married, you wouldn't know that probably till the day it just, I don't know, happened. I keep my private life very private. I think it's a good end for the first round of questions. Thank you so much for everybody who was sending in one. Also, thank you so much for your support, for your trust. It's a blessing to call this work and to sit down here with you and do a little more personal YouTube vlog. I'm also thankful to have a great team behind whatever I do. Just to shout out Jasmine, Olivia, Nico, Mira, Haley, and Gabrielle, just to name a few, who are like really supporting me with this work and making it possible for me to execute in front of the camera because they're supporting in the back. So that's also one thing I wanted to mention. It's all teamwork here. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.